This is an open letter to the Sane Society, specifically to the Sane Society at the NPR. Here's the thing, folks. First of all, I'm not really picking on you because you're basically one of my few sources of news. I don't listen to Fox or look at Fox or MSNBC or any other news organizations because, they look very artificial, both of them. The ones on to the right of crazy and the ones to the left of crazy. They are both artificial, and you can just tell by looking at the news organizations and what they bring to screen. All these very bright colors and bright blues and bright yellows, and everybody's always smiling, and everybody is in miniskirt, and the whole. I look at Fox, I look at MSNBC, I look at BBC. What I see is, the Barbie movie. Very, very artificial, and even the colors are as bright as the colors used in the Barbie movie. So my point is this: that I, if I listen to news, I listen to NPR, and you guys who are supposed to be, in the middle and in the sane society, part of the sane society, you bring up subjects and you present it in a way that it seems very askew. And I'm not sure this last piece that I was listening to who brought it up. Uh, it was during daytime. I'm not sure the name, Michelle Martin or whatever, whoever. The idea was that, and doesn't matter what name, whose name. The idea is that all of the presenters have this idea that uh, this new law that the Georgian government has just passed, the Georgian legislature has just passed, is a bad law. Of everybody in NPR is basically, today was a specific segment about that from one of the presenters on NPR. But before, it was everybody. Almost the whole theme is that Georgia, this is a bad law for Georgia. This is the theme that comes true is that this is a bad law for Georgia. Everybody in NPR as the chorus have this I say that yeah, freedom, democracy. So I pulled out the law, and you get curious that what is this law that these folks are, everybody in NPR or NPR reporters or anybody NPR reporters interview are saying that yes, this is a bad law. This law should not be in Georgia. So this law that has passed, I got curious. I went and printed out. The law goes like this. This is a Google search. It's simple. The bill would require organizations receiving more than 20% of their funding from abroad to register as agents of foreign influence or face crippling fines. The legislation was drafted by Georgian Dream Party, which along with its allies controls parliament. I'm not a legal expert, but just by looking at it, I remember the law that Uncle Sam's managers also have on books that says if you're receiving any funding, not 20%, if you're receiving any funding from a foreign government to make things happen here, to influence matters here, you're a foreign agent, we want to know. This on the books. In all, in British, the same thing. They will kill you in your sleep, you know. The British have the same thing, the French have the same thing, the Norwegians have the same thing, Uncle Sam's managers have the same thing. If you're a foreign agent receiving money to take sides in local matters, we need to know. Everybody has this law in the books. But somehow you think everybody in NPR, everybody, this is the sane organization. Forget about the Fox News. Fox News is the whole, their idea is that let's put up a wall and shoot on sight anybody we don't recognize. Shoot on sight anybody we don't recognize. Anyway, that's their basic idea. And then you have the MSNBC folks. These folks are, we don't need no police. Why? Are you living in a very sane society that you don't need police? Or very, evenly distributed resources in a society that you don't need police? You're living in a very, very segmented society, vast differences in income inequality, with the disappearance of the middle class, vast distance between incomes. You're saying we don't need police. Good luck. So my point is this: it seems the NPR that it's the sane one. Okay, we don't need the police, and and that we also need to have the right to abort or whatever. But my point is this: the sanest one, sometimes insane thing comes out of it. So I feel the obligation to point out those few times that insanity is coming out of the only supposed sane source of news, source of information. I get most of my information from the internet. So, but the only news I listen to is from NPR. Sometimes I listen to the British to find out how they're twisting it. Just not to be informed. With the British, you have to treat them that how are they twisting it. That's what you have to find out with the fucking British. There is a twist there. They will twist it to suit their geopolitical short-term benefit. So here's the thing. This bill, back to the bill, this is a bill that any sane government every government has to pass this bill. This is sanity. As long as you are nation states, not having this is insanity. As long as your nation states, sometimes at one point you want to say, okay, we're going to refer everything to United Nations, and then nobody has the veto power, and 75% of who vote in one way, we will take that way. At least 3/4, if they're okay with a certain rules and regulation, we will adapt it and we will enforce it. But you don't say that. You say, no, forget about United Nations. We tell everybody else what they should do. So you have elections locally, but you want to rule globally. What spot? Here's the thing, folks. As long as you have nation states, and being a citizen of one state is very, very much more beneficial than being a citizen of another state. That's the whole idea when the senators, some of them said, yeah, this war has to be fought, better Ukrainians fighting it than our boys. That was basically the gist of it. This is the insanity of nation states. If it benefits us, we don't care if if it's a slaughterhouse. As long as it benefits us, we are in it. That's the whole colonialism mindset. The colonialism mindset is that if it benefits us, if it's the Ukrainians dying, better them than us. Are you serious? Why not? Why shouldn't anybody die? Should anybody die? I mean, back to the bill. The bill would require organizations receiving more than 20% of their funding from abroad to be registered as agents of foreign influence or face fines. You have this on books, and the idea is pretty sound. The idea is you don't, because foreign, I'm a foreigner. I if I'm allowed to give as much money as I want to another country, to somebody in another country or some organization in another country which I approve of, right? I'm not living in that country. You see, as long as your nation states and the idea is what benefits me is that's good enough. I don't care if it doesn't benefit other nations or no other nations. As long as your mindset is there, they have to protect themselves. As long as you have the mindset of nation state, that at least we are not dying, this is the mindset of nation state. So forgive them if these nation states come up write the same laws that you have on your books that says anybody here receives money from outside. We need to know, obviously the guy from outside is giving money to the ideas that they like. Well, the ideas that they like may not be beneficial for the health and well-being of the people who are living there. The foreigners, the ideas that they like from inside that target country, those ideas that they invest in might not be for the benefit of those fuckers who are living over there. There go Ukraine. The foreigners want the war to continue because it's not their people over there getting, and it's not their country, specifically it's not their country being blown to pieces, and it's not their people dying. 2 thumbs up. This is a nation state thinking of only of itself. This is this is not a global mindset. This is a local mindset. Elected locally, trying to rule globally. That's it. That's an empire. Elected locally, the citizens elect, and then the emperor rules over the rest of the world, as much as that's an empire. Most of the inhabitants of the empire have not voted for the Tsar, for the Caesar. Most of them are slaves. Most of them, the Indonesians didn't vote for Trump or Hillary or Biden. The Indonesians didn't vote for them, but the Indonesians have to follow the rules-based order. Whose rules? Our rules. Folks, you're literally in NPR, you're literally saying that they should leave themselves open to our financial influence, or rather our rich people's financial influence, and the CIA. They should leave themselves open for any foreigner who wants to maybe invest in a very bad idea. They should leave themselves open to any foreigner who has a lot of money, like the print and press of the CIA. Any foreigner who has a lot of money can come and should be able to come and influence the politics or their certain ideas in our society that the foreigner likes. Basically, rich people own your government, The rich people should have the right to own their governments too. Invest in ideas that you like, invest in people that you like. So this advertising to the common man is a thing in democracy. The common man can be persuaded. Fox News has been, persuading the common man to watch their shows by, having a strict miniskirt policy. We need the common man. The common man is very intelligent. The common man understands the matters of the day. So we are selling what we believe about the matters of the day with a miniskirt. And the common man loves it. I was never able to follow the news. Every time I listened to a clip of Fox News or MSNBC, I was always sort of like, I was amazed by all the colors and all the miniskirts and all the high heels, and just without purpose. It's like, this is a news show. Why do you need, somebody with long legs? Aren't we talking about what is happening? I mean, and then you see them and they build these caricatures on these news programs. Caricatures literally pulled out of some, comic book. Janine Pirro, she would make, for example, a good comic book character. Over the top, loud, that's her brand. And, many people just, get hot and bothered by her brand. Many, old men of in 70s and 80s, they get hot and bothered with her, bad girl brand. My point is this: they're selling cartoon caricatures as, people with, perspectives that should be valued. We are promoting these people because they have a perspective that should be valued. Are you kidding me? These are comic book caricatures. Fox News has nothing but comic book caricatures. MSNBC has nothing but comic book caricatures on screen. These are presenters. Shouldn't they be intellectuals as well? I mean, you don't want to, that's when you notice that they're trying to sell the news, not deliver the news. They're trying to sell the news. So basically, I listen to the Sane Society in NPR, but the problem is this Sane Society is itself skewed. It is not sanity to say that if they pass the same law that we have to protect ourselves from foreign influence, if they pass the same law, then that's a bad idea. Goose and gander, I believe there is a saying you guys have. So my point is this: why is it a bad idea? Why is it a bad idea? You showed yourself not to be able or wanting or capable of forming a nice global world order when you were the monopoly in the world. How you used your power was that you went on conquering. Right after the collapse of Soviet Union, instead of sticking with NATO, you should have gone global. You should have said, okay, everybody, we play with everybody, and you don't have to pay us, and you don't have to, we play with everybody, and form a united planet. But you didn't do that. After the collapse of Soviet Union, you went in, you shook hands, you came out, and you laughed at them. And you helped elect Yeltsin, the only incompetent Russian leader for centuries. That was the election. democratic election brought about. There's a movie about it. How un, you know people in the business of managing elections from Uncle Sam's land had actually participated in that election. One of those elections that Yeltsin was involved and this was involved and that was involved. He actually participated with the same kind of dirty tactics that they play, the same kind of smoke and mirrors that they play in Uncle Sam's land. They did the same thing and they got the result that they wanted. Uh, you know, there's a movie about the consulting election consulting group paid for by the CIA to help some candidate in Russia get elected. And one of the guy was Yeltsin, the alcoholic, incompetent. Yeah. So you want to leave the hand of, you know, the MI5, MI6, whatever the fuck the British call this shit show, and the French and the Mossad and the CIA, and you want everybody's hand to be open to get their printers going and try to fund somebody who advocates for them in Georgia. If somebody advocates for somebody, right now Mr. Menendez is on hot coal because he was trying to advocate for the government of Egypt. More or less the same thing. More or less. It's influence. Whether it's a, non-profit organization or for-profit organization, if you can pass in money, print money, and donate it to any crazy idea within that area, then you have Ukraine. They donated a lot of money to the people with the craziest idea in Ukraine, which is nationalism. We are sitting right next to Russia, and we're going to scream nationalism from now on. And we're going to fight them to the last man. Because nationalism is a good idea. You're sure about that, folks? Again, if you think of it in terms of profits, yeah, the more those guys fight over there, the more profits are over here. The more they blow up their refineries, our refineries get double work. The more they blow up their oil wells, our oil wells are going to be worth double. Yeah, there is a pragmatic economist vibe to it. We go use a bunch of bombs, then they have to rebuild. We rebuild it for them. We used our bombs, then we use our construction companies to rebuild it for them, and then we use our bomb to break it back down. they call this they call this conscript. They call it something capitalism, destructive capitalism. So the point is this, folks, you don't have to do this. You really don't have to do this, because you don't have to do this because you this is again back to the problem with this. These guys have passed the same law that you guys have on books, but you say they should not have this law on books because then we cannot influence them. Are you open for them influencing you? If you're not open for them influencing you, why should they be open themselves up to your influence? Mr. Bob Mendez of Georgia, you don't think the Georgians should find out about their Bob Menendez or whatever? As long as you are, you think in terms of nation states, and my benefit is important, and if they have to die and I'm the only one benefiting from it, then be it. And getting in bed with the British, and the British always have colonialism on their mind because they live on a fucking island. They're not welcome anywhere, and so they're always want to force their way in. Colonialism is the British first and last answer to any question. And you're following them through, down the rabbit hole. You're saying that no, our influence should be global because we are right. Are you? Show me right. Show me the investment in what shortcomings of your own population. Like this, the guy says, okay, a lot of problems. He's had a lot of problems in his life, but make yourself great. Then maybe you have something to sell to the rest of the world. Beside more bombs. Make yourself great, and then maybe you have something to, sell to the rest of the world. This thing about freedom and democracy and how's it going, as opposed to intellectuals ruling. I see the intellectuals doing much better. Rule of the intellectuals, like in China, like in Russia, like in a lot of places that you don't agree with. South Africa, it's obvious. They didn't put the lady, the 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 South African foreign minister. It's a great. I think it's a great choice because by nobody would pick her because she was beautiful. Have you noticed how so many are proud of Melania Trump as the first lady, and and they're proud because she was beautiful and fashionable and but she doesn't she doesn't know anything. No, she was beautiful and she was fashionable. And this is what I'm saying, that you have the fewest intellectuals in charge than most these countries that you don't agree with, my friends at the NPR. It's like the intellectuals who are obviously have chosen this woman for her intellect, not her beauty. That's the foreign minister of South Africa, obviously. So you see that they're valuing intellect. Your Trump era, uh, energy secretary was the guy from Texas, Luke Perry or Lucky Perry or Lukey Perry or Loopy Perry. Anyway, he didn't know that energy. He thought both of them, both Trump and Mr. Perry, apparently they both thought energy meant oil. And since he is in the oil business, then he would be an insider from the outside to do good for the oilmen. Neither one, neither of these great minds knew that the Department of Energy has to do only with nuclear and and mostly nuclear plants and nuclear plant issues, which I'm sure Mr. Perry found it very interesting. But the point, my point is this: you, you don't elect intellectuals. Those intellectuals don't elected in it don't select intellectuals to run the system. And you're telling me that this is a good system, Georgia should follow it. In fact, Georgia should allow us to invest as much as we can in people who are following our system because it's such a good system. There's the Sane Society. So, and everybody is on the same page that no, they should be open to foreign influence. While you're printing the world reserve currency, and you can print as much as you want to influence as many people as you can, and to give a you know microphone to whichever voices you thought are good for your benefit, for your nation state benefit. You're not thinking about for the benefit of those people. Promoting Nazis in Ukraine, investing in them, funding them. That if the Ukrainians had that law on book, neither the CIA nor Senator McCain or anybody else would have the option of funding a bunch of crazies in Ukraine. I'm sorry, you're talking about, you're, Mr. Musk was talking about, in this sense, we were talking about Palestine and Hamas, and he was asking, why are you investing in them? Well, yes and no. The same thing can be said about Ukraine. Why are you investing in a bad idea that neighbors should not try to cooperate? Why are you investing in the idea that neighbors should not cooperate? Why are you investing in the idea that Israel should remain white and somehow get rid of all the brown people? Why? You said, okay, no racism here, no racism there, no racism there, but in Israel it's okay to be racist. To the Sane Society. When they say racist, obviously Israel is a racist because they're clearing out their land of the whoever shit that was living there. They're clearing the land out, pushing them around, bunching them together, then pushing them this way and then pushing them that way. And it's been doing this for a long time, 75, 76 years. And you're funding this. You're funding a little America. How America was born by Europeans investing and funding the colonialists in North America. Now Europeans and North America are investing and funding a colonial project in West Asia. And the pretext is that Europeans cannot live together. The Christians were mean to the Jews during World War II. After World War II, so the Jews have to go somewhere else. That's exactly what happened in North America when the Europeans started, have been torturing each other for a long time because some were followers of this branch of Christianity and others were followers of that branch of Christianity, and they kept on torturing each other until they found North America. And then the Europeans had to flee other Europeans to North America. I mean, if Europeans can't live together peacefully, why, what the hell did the North Americans had to do with it? The Redskins had to do with it if you guys couldn't get along with each other in Europe? Every persecuted people of Europe ended up in North America persecuting the North Americans. Does that ring a bell? The persecuted Europeans now have ended up in West Asia and they're persecuting the natives. This is very simple. For all those brainiacs in NPR, this is very simple. Don't you not get it? Do you understand that Ukraine happened because you invested in a very dubious characters with very questionable ideas? Nationalists to that degree? They have Nazi flags, they carry Nazi insignia. You invested in these guys and you're giving them more money? And now they're even gathering people who don't want to be gathered to go to war, forcing them to go to war. And you people at NPR think this is a good idea? No, I think how it was a very good idea. You should have been left alone. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Ukraine was fine as a neutral place. Suddenly, no. You can't stay neutral. If you want real freedom, you join our gang. And this apparently, Ukrainians have to prove their worth to NATO gang by, prove their worth by beating the other gang member, somebody from another gang. Here's the thing, folks. The reality is, even you guys who are supposedly in the center, you are very Anglo-Saxon. You have very Anglo-Saxon ideas because you worship yourself. The Anglo-Saxons have taught you to worship them as well. If you're not Anglo-Saxons, the Anglo-Saxons have taught you to worship them as well. So the result is that you're trying to form global order by conquering everybody. By force, forming a global order by force. And then the crazy thing is that you have, suddenly, certain groups are out and certain groups are in. And, we like these foreigners, but we don't like those foreigners. What? Those foreigners are not beneficial to you? That's why you don't like them? Does everybody have to be beneficial to you to like them? If they're not beneficial to you, you don't like them. That's the problem. You're selling, my NPR friends, you're selling a bad idea. The idea of exceptionalism, the idea of Shakespeare, the idea of, yeah, foreign influence should be A-OK in Georgia. And our printers will work a few more times, a few more rounds, and we can get the government that we want in Georgia, and who talks business with Jeff Bezos, and who talks business with the Walton family, and who talks business with Raytheon and, Boeing. You see, you're going to expand the tent of the empire, and you wonder why they're passing laws that says if you're funded by a foreign entity, you are compromised. We see you as compromised. You have the same laws. As long as there is nationalism, it makes sense to have these laws. As long as nation state is supreme, it's still a good idea as far as you think. As far as nation state is a good idea, as far as you think, as long as this is a good idea, so you have to respect other nations following their interests. and not yours. And then if they do that, you tag them as terrorists and bad and this, that, and the other, and suddenly it's war. Russians are following their interests. Ukrainians, if they were following their interests, they would have been in peaceful relations with their neighbor, because neutrality, in fact, neutrality has a lot of perks. Neutrality has a lot of perks that choosing side doesn't. Choosing side is bloody. You see? Neutrality has a lot of perks. It's a very good idea. But, neutrality doesn't benefit the Mars Candy Company. They want total control. Or BlackRock. Neutrality doesn't benefit them that much. Neutrality means they have some laws that doesn't work for us. Example, the law that says if you get more than 20% of your funding from abroad, we need to know. You have exactly the same laws on books or similar. And as long as nation state idea is what you're for, then everybody should have this law on their books. Why doesn't NPR recognize this? Why is suddenly somebody wanting to have no foreign money influencing crazy ideas in their land? Why does this seem bad? The foreign money that you're sending, you didn't promote good ideas in Ukraine. You promoted crazy ideas, nationalism. And you got them into a war with their neighbor. I say the Georgians, in this case, have done a great job. Salute to them. This is a crazy idea. We want to have influence in order to promote crazy ideas in your land. To see if we can start a civil war. Or an international war. Fuck. First, in Ukraine, it was a civil war. Then it turned international. You're funding, and that's the thing. It's like, how is it that a group of, the Democrats who are, have a lot of Jewish people included in them, how is it that they decided to fund the crazy ideas in Ukraine, crazy nationalist ideas in Ukraine? All of a sudden, it's a good idea. Here's some money. Go spread the idea with some candy. After that, I think Georgians or anybody else would be crazy not to put up such walls. Because again, you have abused these open border ideas. You have abused them. The managers of Uncle Sam, whoever they are, have abused them. Over and over and over and over again. The rest of the world says, okay, stop fighting over there. The numbers are crazy. The pictures are bad. The aliens are laughing at us. Or just pondering. And you guys go about continuing down the same path. Yes, we should finance these conditions some more. That's the solution. For whom is the solution? I'm sorry, NPR. I had to say something. I don't think Georgians made a mistake. You don't want foreigners financing ideas in your land because it may cost lives later on of your own people. You know it, so therefore you have the same laws. Then why are you against other people having same laws? especially because they recently have seen one of their neighbors through such laws. They first fell into civil war and then international war. Really? NPR? Really?